Today we are taking a deep dive into a stack of police reports, some newspaper archives from 1986, and that highly controversial book, The Haunted. We are looking at the Smurl family case in West Pittston, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, this is really one of the most contentious cases in paranormal history. Our mission today is to give you a complete explanation of this topic in an easy-to-understand way, mostly to sift through all the noise and figure out how a standard duplex became the epicenter of a national media circus.
Right, like whether the evidence actually points to a demon, maybe a hoax, or even a shared delusion.
Exactly. And let's start with the baseline data. It's 1974, and Jack and Janet Smurl move into a double-block home. Jack's parents are living on the other side of the shared wall, and for the first decade, it's actually relatively quiet.
Quiet until the timeline shifts, yeah.
Right. It starts with what parapsychologists classify as an infestation. It's really subtle at first. Tools vanishing, and then just reappearing in the kitchen, stains bleeding through fresh paint, bad smells like smoke or rotting meat.
Just annoying stuff at first, not terrifying.
Right, but the psychological pressure cooker is already turning on for the family.
And that pressure absolutely explodes in 1985. The sources describe a rapid escalation to actual physical violence. I mean, we aren't talking about creaky floorboards anymore. A ceiling light fell and actually injured one of their daughters.
Yeah, they reported hearing pig noises and screams echoing at night, too. The aggression is really what marks this case out from others. The most cited incident in the literature actually involves their German Shepherd.
Right, a 30-kilogram dog.
Exactly, a heavy dog allegedly thrown across the room by an invisible force. When you have violence against pets and children, like the daughter being pushed down the stairs, the family's fight-or-flight response just kicks into complete overdrive.
Which makes sense, and that desperation led them to bring in Ed and Lorraine Warren in January 1986. Most of you will know them from the Conjuring films. Lorraine diagnosed 4 entities, including a demon.
But if you look at the timeline, the Warrens' arrival didn't start the activity.
It really didn't.
If anything, it correlated with an increase. The exorcism attempts they organized provided temporary relief, but the phenomena always returned, often more violently. This is where the feedback loop theory comes into play. The family feels totally helpless, so they go to the press in the summer of 1986.
And that decision changed the nature of the case completely. It wasn't a private family matter anymore. You had 80 to 90 reporters camping out on their lawn daily. The street was totally gridlocked, with onlookers just staring at the house.
Which is a crucial variable here. The media presence forced the local Catholic Church to act. They were incredibly reluctant because they didn't want to validate a potential hoax, but the public pressure made it impossible to ignore.
They had to send priests to pray over the home just to address the community concern.
Exactly. But let's pivot to the counter-narrative, because the files here are heavily contradictory. You have the Smurls describing a literal war zone, but then you have visiting priests who spent nights in the house during the height of the haunting and reported nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
0. And that is the skeptic's strongest ammunition. The Warrens claim to have audio evidence of the demon, but they never released it for independent scientific analysis. The whole case relies entirely on witness testimony from a family under extreme duress.
Yeah, and there is one specific data point that I find hardest to reconcile with the supernatural explanation. The Smurls finally moved out in 1987.
And the haunting stopped.
Completely.
Completely. Subsequent families have lived in that exact same duplex for decades since. There are no flying dogs, no stains, no pig noises.
So the demon apparently had no interest in the real estate, only the tenants.
Right, which really suggests 2 possibilities. 1, it was a hoax for financial gain. The story did become a book and a TV movie. Or 2, it was a psychological manifestation.
Which is the poltergeist agent theory, right?
Yes, the idea that extreme stress within a family unit can project outwards, causing hallucinations or maybe even physical phenomena. Once the family separated from the house and the intense media attention, the energy just dissipated.
So we have to ask, did the Smurls escape a haunted house? Or did they simply pack up their own turmoil and take it with them when they left?
That is the ultimate question here. We often ask if a physical place is haunted, but the Smurl case forces you to consider if an entire family can be haunted instead.
That is a deeply disturbing thought to end on, but definitely something for you to mull over. That is it for our deep dive into the Smurl haunting. Thanks for joining us.